All right, guys, what's up? Episode number 2, lunch money. While Wall Street's trying to get rich, the rest of us just trying to get our lunch money right. Special co-host of the day, Miss Polina Marinova. If I'm going to record this and I'm going to sit here in quarantine, she's going to have to do some work and she's going to join us. The first topic, movie theaters. What's going on in the movie theaters?
Movie theaters brought in only $5,179 for the week of March 20th through the 26th. That's down 100% from $204 million. Isn't that more than 100? The same week a year ago.
So first of all, it's down 100%. Obviously, they rounded up. Yeah. It's down 99%. But it's pretty crazy. $200 million a year ago in the same week this year did less than $6,000, $5,100. Is it over? And the whole reason why this is news is they want to bail out. Literally, we're at the point now where our capitalistic society has turned into so much socialism that the movie theaters want to bail out. Airlines want to bail out. Everybody wants to bail out.
How are they going to survive?
Well, they're not pandemic proof.
Oh, well,
when's the last time you went to a movie theater?
Oh, God. I think it was with you 3 years ago.
No, we went one time.
Oh, yeah. We saw the Lion King. That was great.
Yeah, we've gone not at all. So movie theaters, they did $200 million last year. So it's not like it's a dying business. But all of a sudden, people start to realize, wait a minute, what if I could just watch this at home?
Right. But I think after all this is over, people are going to want to go out.
Are you going to go sit in a movie theater crowded up with somebody who might have coronavirus or might have other diseases or germs? No, right? It's just, I think it opened all of our eyes to the fact that we did some pretty crazy stuff. You used to pay $25 in New York City to go. Then you got to get popcorn. If you don't get popcorn, you're not really at the movie theater. And then you got to get some candy. And then you got to get a soda. And by the time you're done, you spend $100 for 2 people to go to the movies.
You spend $100. Normal people don't spend $100. But you mean to tell me that you wouldn't go pay to see The Lion King 3D like you were so excited to last time?
I did go do that. Yeah, look, I think that movie theaters are not going to go away, but it's probably going to be more of like a specialty thing rather than having one in every city, things like that. But a $200 million drop to $6,000. $6,000 across the whole country, U.S. domestic box office. Absolutely nuts. Speaking of nuts, let's talk about the Marathon Man. This is my type of guy right here.
He's awesome. So he ran a full marathon on his 23-foot balcony because his marathon was canceled during the COVID lockdown.
How old is this guy?
He is 32. He's your age.
So a 32-year-old, well, he's obviously way more athletic and obviously crazier than I am, but he's 32. He lives in the south of France, right? Yep. And he was supposed to run the Barcelona Marathon. And because it got canceled, he went on his balcony, which is how big?
23 feet. And his girlfriend, rightly so, was like, what the hell? Just do whatever you're going to do, but make sure you clean up the balcony afterwards.
Well, my favorite part is that how long did it take him?
It took him 7 hours.
6-7 hours? All right. 6 hours of But he did it this is why this guy's a savage. He did it in full gear. So he's got his hat on. He's got his running shirt, the short shorts. You got to have short running shorts if you're going to do something like this. But he's also got the calf warmers on. If you remember the calf warmers, he's just got them on and he looks like he's just the man. But then you remember you're running on a 23-foot balcony. You run 26.2 miles for 6-7 hours. Is this more of people going crazy or is this how people get through the quarantine?
I think that's how people get through the quarantine. And he said that this was such a feat in mental, training his brain to not let him down. Imagine doing that. We ran a marathon in Greece last.
Fact, I made it. I did make it.
2018. It was the hardest, most brutal thing I've ever done. I'm never doing it again. I don't understand why people would ever do it again, but it's definitely a mental challenge as well as a physical one. I can't imagine doing that on a balcony.
What should we do it here? Should we just do it in the living room?
You couldn't even, the amount you pace on calls, you might as well.
All right. So look, people are doing some crazy stuff. I joked today on Twitter and I said that it's likely that our next generation is going to hate hearing back in the quarantine, kind of like your parents used to say, back in Vietnam, or I used to walk uphill both ways to get to school. That's going to be our generation's back in the quarantine days.
And your kids will be like, oh, that sounds so nice. You don't have to go anywhere. You can just chill at home.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Toilet paper, bang, bang, the toilet paper is missing on the shelves of stores. We've all seen the viral videos, people freaking the hell out trying to get toilet paper. What's going on in the toilet paper world?
So the toilet paper manufacturer Kimberly-Clark is saying they're working around the clock. They're trying to get toilet paper on the shelves, but people are just grabbing too much toilet paper and they can't keep up with the demand.
My favorite part of this story is that Kimberly-Clark is not a person. It's a name of a company, great company name. The company's market cap's like $40 billion. And they're one of the largest producers of toilet paper. And they're literally like giving interviews, I think. The president of Kimberly-Clark North America basically said, quote, we're working around the clock to help make these essential products back on the shelves, end quote. And what this reminds you is like there's a lot of stuff going on right now where businesses are either one having to adapt to what's going on, meaning that there's logistical challenges. They've got to increase their manufacturing. But also we're seeing other businesses that are basically saying, hey, I was supposed to build the stages for Coachella, but instead now all of a sudden I'm building basically like FEMA tent cities, right, to help with stuff. And so seeing like something as simple as toilet paper, where there's an article in CNBC where they're talking about how important toilet paper is and the logistical and the supply chain. And these people, like, what do they do when it's over? Do the workers say like, man, that was our Super Bowl. We got toilet paper back on the shelves and they're not excited to go to work anymore?
I don't know, but I just want to tell you guys that there's literally this brand launched a campaign called #ShareASquare because people are being so greedy with their toilet paper. We were in the.
What does that mean? Hold on. What does that mean? Like, are you going to share a square of toilet paper?
No. The company is encouraging Americans to give rolls of toilet paper to those who actually need it and post it on social media. And
yeah, but like then you're not sharing a square. You're sharing a roll.
Yeah, and we were in the grocery store and we were at the checkout counter and I just out of the corner of my eye, I spotted like in the very back, I thought it was rolls of toilet paper. I had to run. I had to get these kids out of my way and I had to grab one of the last things of toilet paper because we weren't hoarding like everybody else. But then you realize if you weren't hoarding, no, there's none for you.
You beat up little kids to get toilet paper?
I didn't beat them up. I just said, get out of my way. I'm on a mission.
I didn't know I lived with a ninja here. Actually, we are wearing all black. I feel like we've got like a uniform. Are we the lunch money uniform is black shirts? All right. Every time you come now, you have to wear a black shirt. No. Doesn't matter if you like it or not. All right. Justin Bieber. This one, man, this is going to the heartstrings of America.
He's heartbroken.
Yeah. JB, man, canceling the tour. The summer tour. I actually don't mind Justin Bieber at all. I think that he's a pretty good performer. Went a little crazy there for a while, but made his comeback. The reason why I wanted to talk about this today is it just goes to show that like even people who you think are super wealthy, who've got millions and millions of fans, they're really being impacted by this just as much as everybody else. I remember Zach Brown. He had to fire like 90+% of his staff, right? So, big musician probably makes hundreds of thousands of dollars per show. He had to fire most of his people. I'm sure other people in the event and concert business are going through the same thing. But he had he had a bunch of them, right? He had like 20 shows, 30 shows.
What's surprising to me is he canceled. I mean, it's
45 dates.
It started in May, which, that's a little, early to be doing a tour. But then September 26th is the last one. It wasn't like, do you think there was ever a conversation of like, maybe we can cancel half of it and then like do the other half? Or it was just like cancel the whole thing?
Well, I'm sure that they wanted to cancel as little as they possibly could. But like, what do you do? What do you do? Cancel the first couple, then cancel more, then cancel more? Or do you just make the decision like, hey, we're not going to do this, right? Because you probably have to also like get like on board a bunch of employees, kind of get ready for it. But, look, if I'm Justin Bieber, you know what I do? Bieber, it's a free idea for you. I don't need a royalty for it, but I'd hold a virtual concert and literally just say, hey, here's the deal. You can only sign in certain cities. So like I'm holding a virtual concert for New York City. If you don't live in New York City, you can't come. And you just get people to pay for tickets to watch them live and like go somewhere, do like a coronavirus concert.
Interesting. I don't know.
Would you pay?
I would not pay for that. No, I can just find videos of him singing online.
Yeah, but like you're willing to pay for workouts that you stream.
But that's because I'm supporting the.
Explain what's going on in the workout. There's massive controversy going on in the workout world.
It's not a massive controversy. It's just that a lot of instructors are being laid off, fitness instructors. So they are they're using Zoom and taking their classes online, and you can pay, in some cases it's free, but other cases you can pay to attend the specific instructor's class on Zoom. And I don't mind paying at all because I know I'm supporting her and the money's going directly to her.
All right, that's fair. It's really smart of them to do it.
Yeah.
But like, what's the difference between the local, what did you say, what kind of class?
Bar class?
Bar, whatever that is. Yeah, bar. But it's two R's and an E. It's kind of really weird. They spell it differently. But what's the difference between that instructor and Justin Bieber? Nothing. They're just entrepreneurs.
Well,
they're trying to get their lunch money. Both of them trying to get their lunch money.
If you want to support Justin Bieber with your lunch money to get his lunch money, go for it. But like, I think that he has plenty, and my local fitness instructor, probably this is how she makes a living. But anyway.
I don't disagree, but what do you think Justin Bieber eats for lunch? Now I'm just going to be ridiculous. What do you think he eats for lunch?
I feel like something weird, like cashews.
What? All right. I really didn't know I was living with a psychopath. Speaking of small businesses, we're in New York City. When you walk down the street, every single business is shut down. It's like we're originally started 50%. I bet you it's 80, 90% of businesses are shut down. Everyone's seen the stats that most small businesses have like 2 to 3 weeks of cash on hand. We're seeing massive unemployment numbers in the millions already from these businesses just not being able to pay their employees. We're even seeing furloughs for companies that are being bailed out. Like literally companies that are getting bailed out are furloughing employees because they can't pay for them. What's going on with Citigroup and these small businesses?
So Citigroup, it's so funny that the CEO of Citigroup used the exact same terminology that Kimberly Clark used about the toilet paper. He said the bank is working around the clock on an online portal for the new $349 billion small business relief program.
So Citigroup is going to basically try to help people onboard to it much faster.
Yeah. And these are for the small business loans that will be forgiven, if you keep your people on payroll.
Yeah. It's super confusing. If you go look at the stimulus package, unless you're an expert at reading it or you're a nerd, you're going to have a hard time figuring out what's going on there. So Citigroup obviously is trying to build this website to help people figure it out. If you want on Twitter, go follow at Permanent Equity. A buddy of mine, Brent B. Shore, and his team, they've been doing a fantastic job of basically taking the professional language and kind of translating it into, everyday kind of nomenclature. Essentially, people who are watching Lunch Money, it's much easier to understand, tells you what to do and how you can maybe save some money, get some of these loans, etc. But to finish up the show, like, what do you think is going to happen to the small businesses? What percentage of small businesses that have been mandated to shut down or have shut down will come back? Over under 50%.
I want to say over 50%, even if it is for a short period of time, I think.
Why?
So for the profile, I talked to several small business owners about how they're dealing with the whole shutdown situation. And they are saying literally I went from X amount of revenue to zero in overnight. And they say that they can keep this going for maybe a few weeks, maybe a month or two. But when your rent is $25,000, how are you supposed to keep paying rent in your existing expenses with no revenue? So I don't know. I really hope. I mean, what is New York City going to look like without small business?
Well, they're going to probably get replaced by other small businesses, right? Other people will step in towards the recovery. But it also, I think, brings to question, one of the things that a lot of businesses previously talked about, the entrepreneurs, et cetera, was hey, I have a recession-proof business. I know you talked to the barber. Tell them about the barber.
Yeah, so I talked to a barber in New York City.
A hair barber, cuts hair.
Yeah, has his own
Not like me.
Barber shop. The reason he's wearing a hat is because his hair's getting really long and shaggy and
looking like Einstein over here without the intelligence.
So where was it? Oh yeah,
with a barber
shop. And he said that when he went to barber school, his dad said, "Well, at least you picked a profession that's recession proof." And he said he was thinking about that quote just now, and he said last year he thought him and his friends were sitting around. They were like, "What would it take for the barber business to go or barber shops to go out of business? What could happen for that to occur?" And he said, "Never in a million years that I think it would be a global epidemic."
Yeah, the virus is spreading.
Yes,
I've been warning people.
I told him not to say that. I literally told him not to say that.
Just saying, man. Just saying. All right, guys. Remember, Lunch Money Show every day, noonish. We're actually recording this afternoon because we don't got our shit together. Could be before noon, afternoon, right at noon, or at 5 o'clock. While Wall Street's trying to get rich, the rest of us trying to get our lunch money right. And thank you to Miss Polina for spending the time. She actually researched. She did more work than I normally do. She wrote some stuff down, put some links together. I read none of them, just came, bullshitted. And hopefully we will do this again tomorrow. Leave a comment, subscribe, share the link, basically do all the things to help us grow this. But I'm having fun doing it. Sounded like people liked the first episode, and hopefully we can get more and more people.
Should I bring my lunchbox for the next one and just put it right
All right, guys. That means we will see you tomorrow.